Well, welcome to formal logic. This is what it looks like. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Entirely symbolized arguments. Not a word of English to be seen. But at this point, that hopefully doesn't intimidate you too much, because when we were dealing with these English arguments, we symbolized them first and then kind of proved it as we went along. So really, this is just taking out the step. We don't need to worry about symbolizing. It comes pre-symbolized. But there are some conventions here that we haven't seen before. So let's take a look at 11. P arrow Q, comma. This comma says that's the end of the claim. So that's like the first premise. If P, then Q. So our next premise is just plain old P. And then our next premise is if R, then not Q. And then our next premise is R or S. And this thing, it's supposed to be a horizontal line with a vertical line right next to it. So it looks like it's like a T on its side. It's called the turnstile sometimes, and it means therefore. So I'm going to just move this over and say, therefore S, that's where we're going. Be careful, sometimes this part of the turnstile, the horizontal bit, can be mistaken for a tilde or for a negation. It's not. It's part of that larger symbol, vertical, horizontal, okay? So now we just need to see, can we work our way from these four premises to this conclusion? And let's just take it two at a time like we did before. If P, then Q. P. Okay, we have two claims. Can we conclude something at this point validly? Pause, think, come back. We can, right? We can conclude Q. That's valid. That's modus ponens. Okay, if R, then not Q. We've already concluded Q. Can we conclude something at this point? Pause the video, think for a bit, come back when you're ready. Can we? We can. If front, then back. Back here is not Q. We have proven Q, which is the opposite of the back, which allows us to conclude the opposite of the front, which in this case is not R. That is also valid with modus tollens. And now we need to ask, is this therefore like sound? Can we get therefore S at this point? Well, let's see. Either R or S, that's a premise that we have, but not R. Can we conclude S? Yes. Valid. So this argument is valid. By the way, for some reason, and I think it might have to do with the fact that we're just not used necessarily to looking at arguments that are symbolized. I hear people say, well, I don't think that R arrow not Q follows from what came before, or something like that. You're right, it doesn't follow from, it just follows. All of these things are premises. So don't ask yourself for anything on the left-hand side of that turnstile or that therefore sign. Don't ask yourself, does it follow from what came before? It won't. They're all premises, right? Remember, it's just a block of premises, therefore conclusion. And we're doing now exactly what we did before, seeing if we can work our way maze-like from this premise set to the ultimate conclusion using only valid inference forms. Excellent. I'll catch you at 12.